Well, hey friends, welcome back to the show. It's been a while since we have had a Turquoise Talk guest, so I'm excited to introduce you to our guest today. And she actually, fun fact, has the same name as me. So her name is Martine Cohen, and she's an award-winning author, speaker, and transformative life strategist coach. And she's dedicated to empowering individuals to lead themselves authentically, separate their identity from their emotions and thoughts, and make choices from a place of deep inner awareness and alignment. You know that this conversation was powerful because her and I have so many things in common. So her work is rooted in the belief that true success comes from within, and she is passionate about guiding others to find ease, joy, and fulfillment by removing the layers that obscure their inner light. As both a lawyer and a corporate leadership consultant, Martine is known for her ability to help high achieving professionals navigate personal and professional transitions. Y'all, it's a great episode. Can't wait for you to meet the other Martine. And so let's dive right in. Welcome to the Life Coaching for Mompreneurs podcast, where you will learn simple solutions to win at work without losing at home. Hi, my name is Martine Williams, and I am your host and CEO, your Chief Encouragement Officer. And this podcast is your one-stop shop to creating a burnout-proof life and business by elevating your clarity, confidence, and courage. Friends, it's time to say goodbye to being the yes girl, to procrastinating on your goals and living in overwhelm. And it's time to say hello to creating healthy boundaries, healthy mindsets, and healthy habits so that you can achieve work-life harmony. Your next breakthrough starts here. This is the Life Coaching for Mompreneurs podcast. Let's do this. Well, welcome back to the show, friends. Today is a first timer for the podcast. I'm actually interviewing a guest who has the same first name as me, Martine Cohen. I'm so excited to have you on the podcast, and it is so weird saying that first name as we were talking
So
about before
funny.
we
It's like
started
I'm going to address
recording.
you by Martine. Yeah, it's a pleasure being here with you today, and thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm so excited. So tell me just a little bit about you, your family, your work, and how you kind of got into the entrepreneurship work that you're doing today.
Oh my goodness. So it's quite a story actually. There's a whole
Yeah.
book around it, but it's quite a story because I didn't start off at all in this. I'm actually a happy attorney, which is
Okay.
I know rare, but like it does exist. I promise
It
it
does.
exists. And I was doing my thing, and I kind of was the perfectionist, but without realizing it. But I was doing my thing, enjoying my work and whatnot. And in 2016, a car rammed into me on the driver's side, and I didn't even see it coming, and I lost consciousness. And when I came to, I was later diagnosed with a severe concussion.
Mm,
So I lost the use of my brain for quite a few months, and that was the scariest time of my life.
wow.
I didn't know who I was anymore. I couldn't understand conversations. I couldn't put words together. I was terrified of what that meant for who I was because I didn't realize that I had identified not just with my role as an attorney, but also with my brain.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought, okay, I'm my brain. My brain's me. It's a great asset. It's fantastic. And this is how I filter the world. And all of a sudden, I don't have this and I don't know who I am anymore. And am I going to be like this for the rest of my life? It's like
Hmm.
from one second to the next. And at one point, the only thing that I could do was turn inwards because I didn't know what else to do.
Yeah.
And I'm a suds girl. Like I love bubble baths. And
Hmm.
so one night I just went into the bath and I was like terrified and there was like all this darkness. And also I couldn't focus. I couldn't, speak to my family. My kids would talk to me and I didn't understand what they were saying. And didn't want to scare them either. Like it was really tough
I
time.
cannot
And
imagine how that felt.
it was horrible. And the kids were younger. And so you kind of feel that sense of responsibility, but at the same time, you can't do anything. You
Yeah.
can't
Yeah.
work. You're sensitive to light. Your head is constantly pounding. It feels like your brain is inflamed. Like
Mm,
it's really painful, like physically painful, emotionally devastating, and you're helpless. And the worst
yeah.
thing is your neurologist that says, "Well, we're going to see within a year because that seems to be the benchmark in medicine of, if you have any residual brain damage." And you're like, it's like,
What?
wait,
Yeah.
what? Like, oh
Yeah.
my goodness, like what world did I just like enter?
Right.
And then I just went inward because something just made me go inward. I didn't know what else to do. And I have no idea why. I think it's some sort of like instinct, some sort of intuition. I can't even explain it.
Yeah.
And I
Like a
started,
self-protection almost, like
yeah.
self-preservation, probably.
but I started seeing all these fears and what I call layers, all this gunk
Mm-hmm.
accumulated that holds us back, that worries us, all these thoughts and fears and sort of like societal conditioning and mental constructs and identities and beliefs and things like that that are not really who we are,
Mm-hmm.
but that sort of dictate our life.
Mm-hmm.
The funny part was, and what I call this sort of like the silver lining and the blessing in disguise, although I have to say right now, don't ever try this at home. You do not, I did this, you do not need to do this. Um, is that because my brain wasn't functioning, there was no fear around going in and exploring myself. And there was no fear around feeling those feelings of fear and sort of terror and feeling lost. Like I could just go deep into it and nothing was
Yeah.
stopping me because there was no story around it. There was no judgment.
Uh,
It was incredible. It was like a free for all, like,
yeah.
no boundaries, no, you're not trespassing. You just go in. And that's when I started to discover all of this stuff that I thought I had worked through, which
Mm.
clearly I hadn't. And I realized, oh, I'm a perfectionist and I'm super hard on myself. But it didn't matter. It was just kind of, oh, that's what it is. And
Right.
it allowed me to work through it. And then at one point, I'm like, wait a minute, how do I even know I'm doing this? I can't function in the world, but I have this awareness.
Mm.
It hit me one day and was like, what is that? And then I had this aha moment in the bathtub one night. I know it sounds funny, but like
Okay.
that's
I
my
call the
Zen
shower
space.
the revelation tank because
Right,
that's where a lot
exactly.
of
So
things
mine
come
is
in.
the bath. Ever since like I'm a teen, it's like my Zen place and my recharge moment. And it was like, you're not your brain, but not only are you not your brain, you're so much more.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, like we're not our brains, we're so much more. And it just freed me. And at that moment, I started feeling like myself again for the first time in months. And I
Mm.
was like, oh, there's hope.
Mm.
But there was still no judgment. I could still not function. It still took another few months, but it allowed me to start reconnecting from myself and then starting to heal myself, not just my brain, but also just all these layers. What
Yeah.
ended up happening when I finally did heal and come out the other end, and thankfully I'm like so grateful that I'm 100% fine, was that I started understanding the world and connecting dots and understanding how the brain works from a whole other perspective. And you know how it is like when you show up to life in a certain way, it kind of like sends you things in a certain way. And people used to
Mm-hmm.
come to me before they used to come to me for legal advice, and then they came to me for life advice, but I knew what to say. It was like the strangest thing. And I didn't trust it, but I actually knew what to say. And I was like, no, this is not what's going on. It's like your brain is telling you this because it's a very finicky organ. But do you agree with your thought? Do you agree
Yeah.
with this fear? Because if you don't, it's not yours. It's not you.
Yeah.
And it just literally organically turned into what now is a best-selling author, a speaker, a life strategy coach, a leadership coach, which is wild. And I've pivoted almost fully at this point to that full time, but it happened organically over a number of years. And it
Yeah.
can still kind of like catches me off guard because I think when the universe has a plan for you,
Yeah.
I had to get hit over the head to listen to it. But the truth is,
Mm-hmm.
it kind of like shows you the path. And this is what I do now pretty much full time. And honestly, I love it. I love helping people in this way and sort of giving them that clarity. And I think it's our birthright to know these things, and we're not taught these things.
Yeah.
I had to go through that journey, and at some point, I knew that I had been saved in this accident for more than just myself. I just
Yeah.
felt it,
Yeah.
and it's called paying it forward, and I'm grateful for it. I do not recommend it, and I do not wish it on anyone, but it opened up this whole new world, and it also
Yeah.
shows that whatever happens to you, you can come out the other side, maybe even better.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
really wild to think of it that way, but I could have spiraled and still been stuck in that. But
Mm-hmm.
instead, I have this whole new, I want to say, second career and way
Yeah.
of living, and it's so freeing and it's very fulfilling.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the things I like to say is there's always purpose in the pain, right? And our past struggles become our present purposes. And that's what I
Yeah.
hear. Like, no, you wished you wouldn't have gone through that. But now it's like, but had I not gone through that, I wouldn't have this beautiful message in this, it was messy, but now I have a message to share with other people because you're right, we're not taught how to challenge what our brain offers up, challenge the thoughts that come up. We just believe it as truth. And there's so many women that are listening that are, moms and they're entrepreneurs. And we talk about this at nauseum here on this podcast because it wasn't something that I was taught until later on in life. Like I've always been a person who is solution oriented and definitely that positive, forward thinking person. But I hadn't really been taught like how to really challenge the thoughts that were there and like noticing what I'm thinking and like you're saying, like some of these layers. And it is like such a great life skill to have no matter what you're doing, even as a mom, right? The mom guilt that moms deal with, the perfectionism, you talked about that earlier, the procrastination, like all of these behaviors are born in our mindsets and they're born in what we're thinking about, but we're just not thinking about what we're thinking about.
Exactly. So we never sit and sort of take a step back and say, well, let me look at the quality of my thoughts. And if I could
Yeah.
choose a thought right now, is that the one I would choose? Because if that's not what I would choose, and why am I actually taking it on as if it's mine?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so there's that awareness that's like higher than the thoughts. The thoughts is the brain. And today, the brain, you wake up in the morning, your brain is already overly saturated and
Yep.
it's already on overwhelm, like 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
So understanding that the brain needs our support, but it can't drive our car because it's
Mm-hmm.
going to crash over and over again or bring us on these like convoluted routes that don't serve our purpose. Like we need to own our life. And when
Yeah.
you own your life, you get this kind of freedom of, am I aligned with this? Can I choose rather than decide? Can I be okay with feeling fear and bring it along for the ride, but like in the passenger seat or maybe even in the trunk?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have
Yep.
to fight myself. I'm going to do what I feel is right as long as I'm aligned with it and have that conversation with my brain. Like, really nurture that relationship with myself
Mm-hmm.
rather
Yeah.
than be hard on myself or knock myself. Would I befriend myself if somebody else spoke to me the way I do? If somebody else thought the way I do about me?
Yeah.
Probably
Yeah.
not.
Well, and I think we are just completely unaware a lot of
Yeah.
times,
It's a lot. It's about
and then
awareness.
but I feel a certain way. Okay, you're feeling that way because you're thinking a certain way. So what are you actually thinking about, right? That's producing that emotion. And it's just that step we're missing because
Yeah.
our thoughts can feel so true, right?
They do because we believe that because they come from our brain, we
Yeah,
believe we're generating them, therefore they're a reflection of who we are.
yeah,
They're
yeah,
not. The brain generates a million thoughts, and by the way, it's like a smartphone. Whatever you grab onto, it'll give you more of the same thing. So
yeah,
if you're a positive person, you're going to be a more of a positive person. And if you're a negative person, you will be
mm,
more a negative person. Neither is right or wrong. I mean, when it feels better, but in reality, it's your brain has no discernment. It's
yeah,
like you're good, you're alive, stay in the situation. You don't like what you're doing, you want to expand your company, but oh my God, you may not be safe. No, 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 stay here. It'll give you all the reasons in the world not to change, not to grow, not to expand, not
yeah,
to not to do self-care. Because if up to now you've lived in a certain way, then it's like, no, just stay this way. But
yeah,
it doesn't discern between miserable and happy. It's just life and death.
yeah. It's wired for survival. It's not wired for
Only
success.
wired for survival. Yeah,
And
and so like
success
maybe you
requires
want to do
growth, right?
right, and maybe you want to do more than survive. Maybe you want to thrive, and
Yeah,
you're meant to.
yeah.
So go for
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. It's a decision, it's a choice,
It's a choice.
right? So, would you say that's the first step is just the awareness? Like, if someone's really trying to, like, they're like, okay, I hear y'all. I don't need to believe every thought I have. Like, what would you say are some of those, like, first steps someone can take to start transforming,
Yeah.
especially if they're in a negative loop, right? A negative self-talk. Like, what are some of the first steps to help them get out of that? Hey, friend, let's talk. It's time to book your clarity call. We are going to spend 1 full hour focused on you. A clarity call isn't about pressure, it's about possibilities. It's about you. You having a space to talk through what's on your heart and mind, you walking away with a clear vision and practical next steps, and you feeling confident in what's next and how to get there. You don't need to have it all figured out. That's my job. All you need to do is show up, and we'll figure it out together. This is the best hour you can invest in yourself right now. Not in 6 months from now, not next month, right now. And don't just take my word for it. Here's what one of my coaching clients had to say after working together.
When I started coaching with Martine, I was extremely burned out, overwhelmed, very stressed, and I knew I needed to make some changes. So I reached out, and over the course of time, she helped me realize that I needed to take back control of my schedule, create boundaries. And then along the way, I had a huge transition in my business, and she helped me figure out my next steps and help me structure a new business. And she's been there for me and been able to help guide me with her advice and her knowledge. Without her, I could not be where I am today.
That transformation, it starts with one conversation. It's time to stop spinning your wheels and start making real progress. So head right now to martinewilliams.com or in the show notes and grab your private clarity call spot on my calendar before they're gone. And since I personally monitor my inbox, if you don't see a time slot that fits your calendar, just send me an email at martine@martinewilliams.com with free times that do work, and I will make it work for you. All right, friend, let's get back to the show.
So that's where it gets really juicy because both my work and my book are full of brain hacks that are so fun. So the first thing is to get into what I call the adventurer mindset, which is curiosity. I say this to my clients all the time, and I've done a whole presentation on it. Turn your fear into curiosity. So fear and curiosity cannot coexist. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're curious or you get your brain to be curious, it forgets to be fearful. And when
Yep.
it forgets to be fearful, all everything, like so on all the tentacles that fear was gripping and keeping you stuck in, all of a sudden dissolve. So it's without fighting yourself, it's without that internal resistance popping up. It's none of that. It's just a beautiful empowerment and shift towards like inner freedom, real freedom. So I would say adopt the adventurer mindset. It's in my book, and this is what I mean by that. If you're planning to go on a safari, let's say, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's on your bucket list. So you're excited. It involves change. It involves the unknown. It involves adventure, exploration. There are no expectations, but you trust that you can do it. The whole point is that you want to experience something fully and you show up with an open mind, with curiosity, no judgment, and you're just all in into the experience. Now imagine waking up every morning to life with that mindset.
Mm-hmm.
What would be different?
Yeah.
Probably everything.
Yeah.
So every time we feel fear, we
Mm-hmm.
stop, we take a deep breath, we identify it, then we inquire. And like, what is this about? And then, do I agree? Because everything is fear-based. At the end of the day, every single thing comes back to a visceral fear. And your
Mm-hmm.
brain tells you tons of stories with many chapters so that you can't even get to the
The truth.
source of it and to the root. Like, oh my God, it writes books and books and
It
books.
does.
100%. And then you take action. You decide like what's my next step? You reframe it into something else.
Mm-hmm.
You stop, take a deep breath, resettle yourself. You identify it, you inquire, and then take action. I call it the SIT method. I have a whole thing around it, SIIT. And it works really well because you can sort of train your brain to do it in the moment almost.
Yeah.
Or you
Yeah.
could do it right after, and then over time, because the beauty of the brain is we can rewire it. It's super
Mm-hmm.
elastic.
Yep.
But I would say the first thing is turn your fear into curiosity. Every time you're afraid, say, "Oh, okay, what is this about?" Never why. Why is judgment, criticism? There's already a if you say why in your body, you'll feel it differently than if you say what. What is more expansive? There's no judgment. It's like clear. It's like, let me go inquire. Let me go figure this out. Let me go explore. All of a sudden, I trust myself. I'm connected inward, and I'm gonna go see what this is on the outside of me. Why is I'm already affected? I don't understand. Why presupposes that it shouldn't be this way. I don't understand and I should, or it shouldn't be this way and it is. That's
Yeah.
a lot of story already. We're
Yeah.
trying to move away from story with our brain into like, let me just see it for what it is and then let me choose how I want to perceive it.
Mm-hmm.
That's my power.
Yeah. Yeah.
And again, we're not taught, in fact, we're taught the opposite. We're
Mm.
conditioned for the opposite in society today. To
Yeah.
just take that moment, take a step back, and allow ourselves to just be for a second and reconnect from within.
Yeah. I love that. Curiosity has been a word that I have really kind of held on to over the last couple of years because I can get really into the right way, wrong way thinking.
Yeah.
And so when I find myself there, it's not like you said, everything is fear-based, fear of not getting it right, right? Or fear of not doing it the right way, or what is people going to think if I do it wrong, right? But that word curiosity really does, it just like calms my nervous system and it just allows me to be like, there's 1,000 different ways to do this, Martine. Just be curious and just take a step
Exactly.
and see what happens. Take another step and see what happens. And so that's really been a really powerful thought or a powerful emotion for me to kind of hold on to as an entrepreneur and as a mom because no one gave you a manual on how to be a mom or how to be an
Or
entrepreneur
an entrepreneur, or even, by the way, how to live
or
life
life.
every day, or life every day. It's
Right.
really a trial and error. And it's
Yeah.
really here you go and go into the deep end, trust that you have what it takes to swim, but you got to swim or else you're going
Yeah.
to drown. So you can't, status quo doesn't exist. You either progress or you regress, but you can't stay in the safe zone. There's no such thing. It's a
Yeah.
brain illusion, right? So that's why it doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
in reality, that curiosity also leads to creativity, and creativity is where
Mm.
you can create your own life.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. So
curiosity
true.
just means I'm not letting fear take over. I can see the fear and I can say, great, thank you for being here, but like we're good. If you want, you can come along, but you're sitting here, like
Yeah.
you're
You're
not
sitting in
driving,
your seat.
right?
Yeah. You're
And
not in the
so
driver's
what
seat.
happens is you never have that tug of war because otherwise we're actually fighting between wanting to do something and something's holding you back and nothing external, it's all internal. But when you
Mhm.
switch to curiosity, your brain lets go because it's like, ooh, let's go see what this is, like a little kid, oh, I
Yeah.
want to go find. So all these brain hacks are just to keep the brain busy while you go do what you want, so you don't have to fight yourself anymore, which is also a relief.
Yeah. It is such a relief. The battlefield is definitely in the mind. And I think that, or I know that part of the problem with change or transformation, or even like someone trying to adopt some things that you're saying today, is it can be uncomfortable, right? Change is uncomfortable. So how do you help people navigate those emotions of uncertainty or discomfort when they're trying to create a transformation or they're trying to create this change that they're looking for?
Exactly. So I love the question because it happens all the time with any sort of change, whether
Yeah.
it's change that's actually scary for us or change that we actually welcome. It's the
Right.
same
Yeah,
thing for the brain. It's like
it is.
change, oh no, no, no. And you'll get a million reasons like why it's not a good idea. And the point is it doesn't feel good to get those thoughts. And if
Mm.
it doesn't feel good, it means that's not what you actually want. You don't want to not do it, right? So
Yeah.
that's number one. Number two, it's another brain hack to say, okay, so but for this feeling of fear, but for this doubt, but for this like apprehension or this, would I actually go for it? If
Mm.
I didn't feel like this, would I go for it? That's when your higher self, that's when all of you shows up to the table. I call it like the inner boardroom. I have a whole thing on it of how to actually do this. And
Yeah.
then it's like, so, but for this thought or this feeling, would I do it? If the answer is no, then actually consider it.
Right.
Go into it deeper, write down the pros and cons. Like I was offered once to go skydiving. And I was like, yeah, as exciting as it sounds, if the thing doesn't open up, I'm dead. So probably not. But I was good with that fear. Like I was
Right.
totally cool with it because I'm like, I'm not gonna do something that I'm totally not in my control, but like there's no way to save me. Like if it doesn't work and malfunctions, I'm literally dead.
Right.
Right. So I'm like, I just can't justify risking my life for that thrill. I just
Yeah.
can't. Right.
Right.
So I'm comfortable with that. By the way, fear sometimes it could be good because it makes you think of, do I actually want to do this? Like it makes you
Right.
weigh things. So I was very comfortable with that. But if I want to expand in my career, or like when I pivoted over,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
to this full time or almost full time, that could be scary. How's it going to work? I don't know. I'm so like I love law. I know law. It's like the back of my hand. This is
Mm.
completely different than this podcast. All these things, speaker, this, that, in front of like big audiences. That's not really what I'm used to doing. But if I didn't feel anything, if I was neutral, not
Mhm.
even if I felt like I wanted to, would I be drawn to doing this? And the answer was like, oh, absolutely. So then it was like, okay, so then let me talk to this fear, but it's not going to drive me. I'm
Yeah.
going to choose. So it's understanding, is it coming from you or is it your brain trying to stop you? And it's also distinguishing and sort of separating the brain and its needs and its agenda
Mm.
from actually you and your life and your agenda because it's not the same agenda. The brain is trying to keep you safe. And I give this analogy of we all have alarm systems, right? With the app and this and that,
Yep.
right? So mine and I think most work the same way. It's you can sort of set the intensity. In other words, if there's a leaf blowing in front of your door, it can give you a signal like there's a person, like
Oh,
there's an
right.
intruder,
Yeah.
there's movement,
Yeah.
or it has to be when somebody's coming up the stairs. So I don't want it to let me know every time there's a leaf blowing or the wind's a little bit. I'd rather it like there's a person coming close. So you have to sort of navigate that intensity and you have to lower the volume, right?
Mm.
You have to lower it. So same thing with the brain. The brain is going to let you know if you lost a follower or somebody didn't, give the heart emoji, they just get the thumbs up. It's like, oh my God, you're not liked anymore. But literally, it
Yeah.
could keep a person up and it could freak somebody out. I just lost a follower. I can't believe it. How come? Like in things that have nothing to do with life and death. But the brain interprets them as the exact same thing as literally life and death.
Yeah.
So it gets stressed out, it stresses you out, and then you don't know what to do with it. But in reality, you're fine. If you
Yeah.
lose all your followers tomorrow morning, you're still going to be alive. It's not a
Right.
problem. It's not fun. You'll have to find another strategy. You might choose something different, but you're fine. You're alive and breathing, but that's not how your brain is going to make you think and feel.
Yeah.
So we have to lower the intensity, but we're in charge of that. But we allow our brain to just take over because we don't even understand that that's the dynamic.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
just
It's
not
so true.
aware.
Yeah. It's so true. I mean, I think of all the times where, I got into that loop you probably talked about, the fear loop, like just all up in the fear loop, and it feels so real. And now I just like, and then when you get onto yourself and you get onto what the brain's doing, you're like, oh no, not today. No,
Right.
it's okay. There, I see you. I see what you're trying to do. You're doing your job. I appreciate you. You're trying to keep me safe, but I'm safe.
But I'm safe, and yet you're keeping
Yeah.
me so safe that I can't leave the house. I can't, right? Like it's like imagine keeping a person like in
Yeah.
the basement, in the closet that's off the garage, and then you're like stuck there forever because if you leave the house, you might get run over. You might get hit by lightning. It's like I can't live. I can't breathe. I'm not
Yeah.
safe at all. I'm in jail. That's not safe.
Yeah.
Safe is expansion and getting comfortable with things and bringing more things into your comfort zone, not less.
Yeah.
That's safe because we're meant to be here to fully experience life,
Mm.
each in our own way. But so it's not safe if we don't do that because then we're making ourselves smaller than what we are. And that is unsafe. That's literally unsafe because we're taking away our own tools. It's like, trying to I love baking, trying to bake something with one hand behind your back. Well, it's a little complicated
Yeah.
and unnecessary.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, a couple of things that I definitely know my listeners, what holds them back, and I think that the two are tied together is self-trust
Yeah.
and safety, right? Like feeling safe in their emotions. And there's a lot of emotions that go into entrepreneurship, and there's a lot of uncertainty you have to hold. There's a lot of doubt you
Oh,
have to
yes.
hold. There's a lot of risk involved,
Yeah.
and which is
Yeah.
why, some people bow out, and it's not because they couldn't do it. It's just they didn't know how to manage their emotions and their thoughts around those scenarios. And it's really kind of sad to me to see the dreams that get left on the table because women don't know how to manage their mind and their thoughts and their brain and feel safety in their body when a fear comes up or when doubt comes up. And so they don't trust themselves in their own emotions. They don't trust themselves to take kind of that next step. Do you feel like you see that correlation a lot too? Quick pause. If you've been listening and you're ready to stop performing your life and start leading it, if you know you're ready to feel better now, not later, and you're ready for support that actually creates sustainable transformation, I have private one on one coaching spots open. And inside this coaching, in Illuminate You coaching, we don't guess. We use your unique personality blueprint built from the science backed personality and performance tool called the Pro Scan, the one you've heard me talk about here in the podcast. This is used so that every decision, every boundary, every shift is designed specifically around your wiring, not someone else's. This is my aligned success method. It's not hacks. It's not try harder. It's not mindset glitter. It's a real solution. It's rooted in science, strategy, and your unique design. So you can lead your life as the woman you actually are, not the woman others expect you to be. Now is the time. Take the step. Book your clarity call at martinewilliams.com/clarity. All right, back to the episode.
100%. I see that a lot. And I want to say, I just want to take a step back and I want to try to reframe it for your audience. When you feel that way, A, it's okay. However you feel and think is always okay. But you can modify that if you so choose. But it's okay. You don't even have to judge it. It's what
Right.
it is.
Yeah.
Second of all, it's not you.
Mm-hmm.
Your brain doesn't trust that you could survive better than it could force you to survive.
Mm.
So its job is to sound the alarm every time it thinks you're in danger, not every time you actually are. So
Yeah.
any shift, any change, especially in today's world, for the brain is so precarious because this is not what we're wired to do, and this is not how the brain is wired to live. It's like the farmer and your little piece of land,
Yeah.
and you go to sleep with the sunset and you wake up with the sunrise. Literally, it needs a much calmer, more humane pace, and we are the opposite of that. And
Yeah, we are.
the advent of technology and social media, the brain has to filter so much more than it can. It's always playing catch up. So understand this is your brain. It is playing catch up, not you,
Yeah.
your brain. So if you, first of all, really separate the two and say, okay, do I really doubt myself or is my brain bringing me thoughts of doubt? And if it is, I want to investigate them. It would be like I say my brain is my biggest assistant. It's like if my assistant brought me, brought something to my attention and said, well, but I think you might have forgotten to, draft this paper or do this
Mhm.
or add this to your leadership workshop or whatever. What do you think? And I'd say, thanks for bringing it to my attention because I could have, overlooked something. Now let me see if I did. Let me see if I agree if I want to put it in. And then I do or I don't. So if we take our brain as a messenger rather than as a truth teller or somebody that's on top of us,
Yeah.
they're not, it's our best assistant. Imagine you're telling now everything that your brain does from this moment forward, look at it as your best assistant. So your best assistant is a keener. They're overzealous. He or
Hmm.
she, I don't know if your brain is male or female, whatever you want to call her, you could give her a name, is anxious because it's already above its pay grade, what it's asked but it's asked to do. It needs to sort of filter more than it can. That's why some people decide, okay, I'm not doing social media for a while, or I'm not
Yeah.
doing news.
Hmm.
Not because we can't handle it, but because the brain is like, oh my, there's too much coming at me.
Right.
We always have to take a moment of self-care, even if it's 5 minutes in the morning, to just be fully present with what you're doing. Take your shower, be fully present with it. Just feel what it feels like in your body. Your brain relaxes and says, oh, okay, she's safe. She knows what to do.
Mm.
She's good. I'm a
Yeah.
cappuccino girl, so I do that with my cappuccino. It could take me 3 minutes or 15 minutes. I don't always have the same amount of time,
Yeah.
but I show up with the same amount of presence. The
Yeah.
other thing, presence, being aware of ourselves throughout the day rather than like running around and being only externally focused helps a lot to calm the brain down.
Yeah.
So all of these hacks and understanding that it's almost like you're dealing with a 3-year-old that's overwhelmed.
Yeah, for
Your, br-
sure.
but your
The
brain is
toddler.
also
It's a
great
toddler
because
out
your brain executes for you. You can delegate a lot of things to your brain. Hey, help me figure this out. Hey, let's execute upon this. Hey, I want to strategize. I have to use my brain,
there. Hmm.
but not decide for me or choose for me. I need to be whole with that. And if a part of me is not whole,
Yeah.
that means that there's another, I need to go inward and figure that out first.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't, not to take our brain personally, if that makes sense, but really it's good advice because when we take it personally, we believe it fully.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
personal. This is the best my brain can do.
Yeah.
This is the brain I was given at birth, and this is the best it can do. But I'm here in this world and I can function with all this craziness,
Hmm.
but my brain probably not so much.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that you touched on the self-care because that's something we talk about here on the podcast too, just giving yourself that time and that break. And it doesn't have to be like a girl's weekend away. It can be like, again, a 5 minute, deep breathing exercise. It could be a 10-minute walk outside, but it just, I know the thought that my listeners have is I don't have time for that.
Yes,
Right?
and
That's
they
the
don't.
thought.
And it's okay. It's okay because that's a belief from the brain that
Yeah.
says you can't do that because this is what you do. This is what you must do because this way you have food on the table. You might be successful. Your company's going to do well. And it's like, no, because you're not doing well.
Yeah.
But the brain doesn't care about that. The brain cares about keeping things status quo. Status quo means the opposite of growth,
Yeah.
expansion, enjoyment, fulfillment. However, so you can feel that you don't have time.
Yeah.
But whatever time you take, you're going to the washroom. Sorry, it sounds dumb, but just be fully present in just you.
Yeah.
If I'm working like 5, 6 hours or I'm doing like back-to-back sessions or whatever, sometimes you need to go to the washroom. You're gonna like, I don't have time for that. Like, it's to that extent, right? And it's like, no, I'm gonna take the time because I want to tell my body, I hear you.
Yeah. Right.
Or it's beautiful outside, I'm taking 5 minutes. Or wake up 5 minutes earlier in the morning, if you
Hmm.
have younger kids, before the kids are up, before your husband, before whatever, and just sip your tea or your coffee or take your shower with no distraction. Just give
Hmm.
yourself the moment. It's not that we don't have time, we don't have mind space. It's not true
Yeah.
that we don't have time because
Right.
if God forbid something happens, all of a sudden you drop everything and you go do it. So we do have time.
Right.
But our priorities, are kind of off because we're not, it's not even that we're not a priority on our list. At
Mhm.
this point, most women are just not on the list.
No, they're
They're
not.
they're just not on the list.
They're a
And when they're
burner
on
on
the
the
list,
wall.
they feel guilty and they're like, no, but I did this because please don't apologize. Your power is in your feminine power is in expanding as a woman. You are able to be a mom, an entrepreneur, a wife, a partner, a sister, a friend, whatever it is, a daughter, and own it wholly. But most importantly, how do you show up for you? How's your relationship with you? Would
Yeah,
you want to be your own bestie in the way that you treat yourself?
yeah,
Because you cannot give more and you cannot do more without depleting yourself unless you do it for you. And that's so important to remember. So it's not about the quantity, it's about the quality.
yeah,
Whatever you're going to do for get dressed in the morning, choose something you like.
yeah,
Decide the night before, but put it on in the morning and actually enjoy putting it on. Enjoy fixing your hair. Enjoy putting on your makeup, but be present in what you're doing. Oh, I'm putting this mascara today. Oh, I'm going to choose this blush. It sounds silly, but when you are nourishing yourself, you
mm-hmm.
will show up to the rest of your day so differently. And
Yeah,
you're doing these things anyways. The question is, can you bring joy to them? And can you
mhm.
actually be fully present in them? So it's not, we always have the time, it's the mind space we don't have.
Yeah, it's so true. So true. So tell us a little bit about your book and like what you're most excited about right now in your business and all the places where they can connect with you too.
Absolutely. So the book is called No More Layers because that whole gunk that I discovered were
Mhm.
actually layers that sort of were put there in early childhood when we needed that extra protection, right? Because otherwise we were too vulnerable, we had no filters. But we grow up with them because we don't know they're there. They continue to sort of like direct and instruct how we live our lives and the belief that we have about ourselves. And that's why we feel restricted. So there's one around trust and worth and agency, right? And perfectionism. There's a few of them like that. And there are seven sort of primary layers of protection that I discovered. And underneath them, there are a lot of derivative layers. So there's a whole chapter on each one. There's exercises, there are client stories, aha moments. So really, the book was intended to be an experience for the reader and meet the reader wherever they're at.
Yeah,
So I love that because that's the feedback I'm getting. And
yeah,
that's exactly the intention within which I wrote this book. The book won a number of awards. It won the Indie Excellence Awards in spirituality of like self-help. It won leadership two international business awards. So it won two Stevies, which was amazing. I was like, oh my God, I went to Portugal to get it. I was like, oh my God, this is like my little moment. Now it's going to be in a movie, in a small movie. I'll
Okay.
give you the details
Congrats.
when it comes out. Like I'm going to LA in 2 weeks for that. So it's been super exciting. I've been giving talks leadership workshops because in reality all this is about leadership of self. Before
Yeah.
we can lead others, we need to lead ourselves, and if we own ourselves, we're going to be so much freer.
Yeah.
So it's called No More Layers: Discover Your Inner Power and Reclaim True Freedom from the Inside Out, because everything starts from the inside out. You want to change your life on the outside, change your internal landscape,
Yep. Yep.
right?
Yep.
And so they can connect with me through any of sort of platforms that I'm on. My website is www.martinecohen.com. And you should know that I consider myself to have what I call an open door policy, which means when people reach out to me, you will actually get a response from me, not my
Yeah.
assistants, not my team, whatever it is, me, because I part of the purpose I'm doing this is really to connect with the audience. This is
Yeah.
why I love being on podcasts and to connect with people. This is for the people.
Right.
So I do take the time. It might take a few days, but I do take the time because if somebody bothers to reach out, I feel like
Yeah.
that's what needs to
Yeah.
be
I'm the
done, you
same.
know?
I'm the same.
And I have a little gift for your audience, which is like a
Okay.
2-day mindset reset. It's both a video, and also like a little worksheet just to get them sort of initiated to sort of like how to reframe your thoughts, because I feel
Okay.
like that's the biggest challenge that people have right now.
Yeah.
So it's the website. It's www.martinecohen.com/connect with me. Super
Okay.
easy. They can find the book on Amazon. They can also find it through that page. And that's how you
That's
can connect.
awesome. That is so awesome. We'll
Yes.
put the links to everything in the show notes to make it really
Perfect.
easy for everyone to get to. Appreciate that gift to our audience. And we could talk for hours because
Oh
you
my
and I have so
goodness.
much in common, the way we think and the way we coach, probably, and the way we lead people and the way we lead ourselves. So I just appreciate you being so honest and vulnerable and sharing your story. I think you have a very powerful story. And I know that each person that gets to hear it is impacted by it. So thank you for taking your mess and creating a message
Yes.
to impact other people. It's really important. So that's amazing.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. It was really fun doing this together.
It's awesome. Well, if you could leave the listeners with like one final thought, like one thing to encourage all the mom entrepreneurs out there, what would you want them to know?
When you have a dream and you have something that's calling you, don't wait until it hits you over the head. Please, please, please. That's what happened to me. Go for it because you never know how the universe is gonna, make you hear it.
Mhm.
And just don't be afraid to feel fear because more than what we fear fear itself. And
Yeah.
when you understand that and really break that down, you're like, if I'm called to do something, it's because I have all the tools I need to do it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would be called to do something else. So
Yeah.
go for it, take it step by step, go for it, and remember to listen to yourself in the process.
Love it. So good, Martine. Well, it's so weird to say my name to someone
My pleasure,
else.
Martine. It was great. There you go. Weird for both of
I
us.
know. So
So
great.
awesome. Thank you so much for having me
So
on this.
great having you. All right, friends, we'll catch you on our next episode. Well, that's a wrap, friends. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. I really hope it met you right where you are and gave you some encouragement for your day. Could you do me the biggest favor and leave me a rating and review? Seriously, it's the best way for you to support the show. And while you're there, be sure to follow the show so you never miss an episode. Thanks again. And until next time, I am believing in you always.